Hey everyone, welcome to Feelings with the Geekiary. I am Erin. I'm here with my fellow hosts, Tara and Vaughn. We're fans, we have feelings, and this is where we webcast about them.
Yeah.
September is almost over.
No, yeah.
I know the title of this webcast is apparently September Ends, and all that made me think of was Wake Me Up When September Ends, and I actually pretty much feel that way, so I'm good with that.
That's what I went for. I'm happy about September on account it's my birthday month, so I'm happy about October too. So anyway, friendly reminder, this is also a podcast, so please subscribe to us on iTunes so you don't miss any of our feelings. And if you're listening to this as a podcast, please remember that this is recorded live, so we're not exactly sure what is going to happen. Please forgive us any technical difficulties or accidental swears. You can join the conversation using hashtag Geekiary Feelings. Come on, how will we know we're wrong unless you tell us?
Are we jumping? I can do my disclaimer? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We would like to remind all of you that the views expressed on this webcast are those of the hosts as individuals and do not necessarily represent the Geekiary or the webcast itself as a whole.
Yeah, don't judge us for what she said. It was all her.
Yeah, it's always me, let's be honest.
Honestly, it's all of us at some point.
We have a Patreon. You can just go to Patreon. That's patreon.com and look us up as the Geekiary. Geekiary. We've got some awards up there, but mostly this Patreon is about supporting websites like us that aren't necessarily like in that for-profit. We are not owned by any major corporation, and a lot of webcast podcasts and websites use Patreon as a way for people to give money to the things they enjoy watching or reading. And we've got some awards up there, like an interactive webcast with the admin, like Stephanie, Admin Angel will be there. I'll probably be there, possibly Vaughn, if we can work our ridiculous schedules out. But yeah, so, and it'll be focused on stuff that our viewers and fans suggest, and as we do with this, we'll be using social media to hopefully drive the conversation. So yeah, that's one of the awards you can get, or you can just donate straight to the Patreon. And also, if you're a fan of other podcasts or webcasts, I suggest looking them up on there, because I know a lot of them that are using it lately. So anyway, get it out of the way. Hashtag Hairgate is back again.
Yeah, well,
And we've already sort of had this conversation, but I gave I threw down some Motown Philly lyrics.
Hang on, suicide.
Oh no. Did it just fall over?
Yes, it did.
I couldn't tell if something knocked it.
It was a One Direction emergency.
It's all right. I'm back. I'm sorry. Hairgate. What was happening?
We already talked about this a little bit a couple days ago, because Sophie Turner, there was a Tumblr post where somebody shared a quote from her from an interview where she was talking about how obsessed Kit Harington is with his hair. And I made what I thought was a really bad but also funny song lyric to the tune of Motown Philly by Boys to Men, because also Jon Snow had to get rid of the boy and become a man, and I thought I was being really clever and nobody acknowledged it.
Oh no, I'm sure it was really clever.
It probably wasn't. I know the lyrics are bad, but I thought the Boys to Men reference was good, but I think maybe it was just too I'm aging myself. So anyway,
yeah, well,
that's all there is about Hairgate. Kit Harington. Yeah, and it's also he's actually apparently obsessed with his hair. I don't know how much we can trust that, but
I feel like that's probably a thing. Then now I kind of want them to force him to cut it off.
That'll be a new.
New version. I would if he wasn't dead.
Oh my gosh.
He's still dead.
Ugh.
It's all a dream. It's all a dream. Everything that's happened since he came back.
Well, yeah, I mean, we honestly won't know until like next summer.
Yeah. So it could be true. You don't know.
I don't even engage anymore. I just do exasperated sighs.
You know what? I quite enjoy like the exasperated sigh level of watching something.
At times I do too. But then sometimes it gets to be too much. And then I stop watching things.
I think it's less like the exasperated sigh and more the just resigned sigh that is bad. Like, you know, when you sigh and you're just like, oh, I didn't expect anything better from this.
So anyway, getting on with news stuff since Hairgate, you know, isn't telling us anything new. Check out the Geekiary news section on the website. We've got a new whose dog is barking?
That's mine.
Oh, I was like, is that my dog? And I'm just ignoring her completely.
I'm inside, you idiot.
So anyway, Geekiary News Briefs is a new thing that we're doing where we gather some kind of somewhat related news together into one post so that you don't have to read like 10 posts to get all the news for a day. And that's kind of cool. Our writer Fareed is doing most of those. Other than that, Luke Cage is being released tonight.
Yeah, it's supposed to be good too. So
fingers crossed. I won't be able to watch it until tomorrow, but because there's no way I'm staying up till 1 a.m. But yeah, I just don't want to get spoiled.
I saw that Jamie went to the premiere last night.
Yeah,
in New York. Is that correct? That's cool.
Jealous.
I know. There'd be a lot of attractive people there.
At times like that, it makes me wish I lived in a place like New York, and then I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, but dealing with it every other day, all those people.
Yeah.
All those social expectations.
And the cold up there too.
So cold.
So anyway, yeah, Luke Cage, yay. Please don't spoil people. Be smart. Not everybody can stay up half the night watching it. So did we all do...
I did.
Jumping onto something totally different. Did we all do the Pottermore Patronus quiz?
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
What did we all get? Because I think I saw a bunch of people. Some of the people got the same thing as others, and Facebook groups them all together. And
yeah.
So what did we all get?
I got a beagle.
Ah.
Which I think is pretty accurate, you know, because they're a bit like weird and forgetful, but super overhyped about stuff.
They're a little barky.
Yeah, that's me.
They're good. They're good dogs, though. They're super loyal.
They are.
I like to look up the meanings of what everybody's Patronuses are.
Yes.
Beagle, you have a mind of your own. You are determined and watchful, and know when to pounce on opportunities. So that's if the beagle is your animal totem, which I feel like that's what a Patronus is.
Yeah.
What was yours, Erin?
I got Irish Wolfhound.
Ooh.
Yes.
Looking this up now.
What does an Irish Wolfhound mean?
It's got a lot of, because it's more like, this is more like European stuff. Hold on. I've got to find the right part of the article. And my computer is like, no, we're going super slow. They symbolize hunting, healing, and the other world. They're traditional. Whoa. What was that? Oh my God. No.
Did you click on the Patronus page?
Worse. No, it was automatic music on a website.
Oh yeah.
Irish Wolfhounds are traditional guardian animals of roads and crossways and are believed to protect and guide lost souls.
Cool.
Y'all's are way cooler than mine. I got a wild boar. I
What
did
does
not
it mean?
I did not answer one of the questions like fast enough, and that annoyed me. But I actually was happy. Like at first, I was like, "Oh, this is weird," but then I realized like I don't really care about, or I don't really like Ernie Macmillan all that much. But he was a Hufflepuff, and he had a wild boar. And the only article I could find about like the symbology is the symbology of the wild boar is that of truth, courage, and confrontation. It's supposed to teach people how to be honest and find their courage. So
That's cool. I can see you being that. You're teaching people to honest.
I feel like my description isn't as like awesome as like yours were written like as like a fun story, and mine is like this is what the wild boar symbolizes. But no, as soon as I read truth, courage, and confrontation, I don't know about courage, but I certainly got that truth and confrontation down.
I think it takes courage to do the truth and confrontation thing. So
There you go. There we go. So I know like a lot of people weren't happy with their Patronuses. There were a lot of funny articles about people who got like moles and field mice, but apparently the field mouse is the strongest Patronus. I didn't read the whole thing on the website.
I don't know. I mean, I think that like when they first brought out the sorting quiz, people were really upset too. And the wands and stuff. Like everyone, it takes a little while for people to kind of get used to it. You know.
Yeah.
And then they sort of
just Google your Patronus and you'll feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they all mean really cool things.
Yeah. I just Googled the animal name and symbolism. So wild boar symbolism, beagle symbolism. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's good. You just gotta, let it low. Go through you for a while and let it, let yourself embrace it. I think because people react badly to stuff like all the time.
and again, like I Googled some of the ones people were hating on. It was like, oh, these have like good like symbolic traits. Like they all have everything has like some negative symbolic traits or ones that you may not feel like fit you, but like it's usually like broad enough. Yeah. I don't know. I had fun with it.
Yeah. And it's an online quiz, so it doesn't matter that much. To be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it matters. I say this as a massive fan who's probably going to get a beagle tattooed onto me at some point. But, like, it's, it doesn't, matter in the scheme of things.
Tara, are you going to get a wild boar tattoo on you at some point?
No. I'm actually like I do have a lot of tattoos and I'm mapping out like my full back tattoo that I'm getting, and right now like my main thing is trying to decide between like the tree from Lord of the Rings where it like comes up and like the tattoos I already have on my shoulders are like in the branches, and the trunk is the Riders of Rowan symbol, or just like get the Riders of Rowan symbol up the middle of my back. I'm struggling with this. I have artistic ideas that I cannot express.
It's hard. It's hard when it's like a permanent decision and you're like,
Also, I can't draw, so it's like I have to trust somebody. Like I have to have someone draw it for me, and then like go back and forth with the artist and be that pain in the ass like person who's getting a tattoo. So
we go through it. I think they'll be much happier that you've got a good tattoo rather than you've just said okay, yeah, and then gone.
Yeah, well, I would be much happier too. So yeah. I mean, I am that person too. I've had tattoos like where they did something that wasn't quite right, and like I had them fix it. So anyway, so enough about tattoos, except for the fact that perhaps Hiddleston and Swift, aka Hiddle Swift or Swizzle Sticks, are glad that they didn't get relationship tattoos, because that's sad. Over.
That would have been amazing.
Well, they had the fake paint tattoos over the 4th of July, but they were not real.
No, that is
goodness.
I wonder if he regrets wearing that I Love TS shirt.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he just leaned into the whole thing and he seems pretty hyped about it.
Yeah,
Like-
the gossipy articles I read were that he was upset that they broke up, and it was like her instigating it, and I was like, oh really?
Yeah, no, I mean the spin that is happening is that he wanted to be too public with
Yeah,
their
exactly.
relationship.
Which is
Yes,
so Tom Hiddleston.
I read that and I was like, it was Taylor Swift's people who put out all of the photos.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what? Come on, give me a break.
Yeah.
and see,
Even
that's-
outside of that, I was like, I didn't know that, and I was still like,
Yeah, well, I did hear a rumor, like if we're talking celebrity gossip, that Swift's next point of call is Zac Efron. So
yeah, I heard that too. I saw that. We talked about it in fangirling.
yes, we have a fangirl chat where we just yell about Hiddle Swift a lot.
Oh, that was like 90% of the conversation for the past few months. The funny thing was at Dragon Con, so we had a friend who planned on cosplaying Loki, and he mentioned to us that he was going to have like a Loki for President campaign sign. So Brian bought like a cheap, like literal, like from a Spirit Halloween costume store, Thor costume. It had like stuffed muscles and everything. And I pulled out my Lolita Thor, and we made like 20 something signs that were like campaigning against Loki and or for Thor. And Brian bought something like 17 mini Mjolnir hammers from Amazon. They were like a couple bucks a piece. And we had a group of friends, and we handed out all of these hammers and signs to all of our friends. No matter, like, we were the only two dressed as Thor. One of my friends was Captain America. Everybody else was kind of random. Like, one of my friends was Enchantress, Becca, who's, writes for us as well. Yeah. So we had this like random group. And a Harley Quinn. We had Harley Quinn. We had this random group of cosplayers carrying around signs campaigning like against Loki and for Thor. And we finally meet up with my friend who's dressed as Loki, and we get all sorts of funny videos and pictures of us, chanting, Thor more years and stuff like that at him. And then he gets down on one knee and like rips open his button-up shirt, because he was like dressed up like suit Loki, and he's got an I Love TS shirt underneath. And like 2 days later they broke up.
Oh.
So it was like, oh man, it's like the last time that shirt's ever gonna be relevant. Go you.
Yeah, I think it'll go the distance, like meme wise,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it'll be around for a little while.
I think it'll keep going, and maybe like we'll forget about it for a while, and then someone will bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, remember when? Especially when the next Thor movie comes out and he's having to do promo.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I think
that's like next year.
Yeah. If there are any dudes out there who are looking for like a cheap and easy last minute Halloween costume, you should go for In Love Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah. Especially if you heart Taylor Swift.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or especially if you can have some girl with you dressed as Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Preferably in the awful streaky eye makeup and leopard dress from Blank Space. Could you imagine the photo opportunity?
Yes, that's so meta as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I like it.
At some point tonight, I'm going to post this cosplay idea somewhere, like my Twitter or something, and beg people to do that.
That's so good. Yeah, I'm for it. All right, so from Taylor Swift, and I've just added this in without even questioning you.
That's okay.
It's the One Direction news section, because a lot has happened this week, and I think it was specifically for my birthday, because I'm not like emotionally equipped to deal with it all during this week, and I've got all these other things on. So every time I leave the internet for like 4 hours, I come back and One Direction have done something. Basically, the big things were Harry did a photo shoot spread and a bunch of interviews and stuff in Another Man magazine, which is kind of like a a high fashion men's mag from the UK, and Niall released his first solo single. So
Yeah.
I haven't heard it yet. Did you like it?
I did. I liked it. It's very kind of chill and stuff. I mean, I've only heard it once, so I haven't had time to kind of let it mellow, I guess. But yeah, no, I liked it. I don't know. It's not One Direction, so it's a bit weird in some ways. But it was been a fun week. The other big thing was that in his like spread, Harry Styles wore a collar, which was a leather bound collar that was both like fashion and functional collar, apparently from like a special like website that does BDSM wear.
Oh. I think he's being a little teased.
So yeah, what was up with the 3 magazine cover thing? It was like someone said it was like him getting his hair cut and then chronicling it. Wow.
Yeah. He's like literally that kind of drama queen level. He did an entire fashion photo shoot surrounding his haircut, which is, well, to be fair, he knows what we like. Like, he's given the people what they want.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with One Direction. I've liked some of their songs. I may have even liked all of them that I've heard, but I think I get them confused with other.
Yeah.
But I just don't know what their fans want, so I don't get the whole like chronicling somebody's haircut in 3 magazine covers. But that's cool if that's what people want, man.
I only know like the weird kind of like super level fan girls, so I don't know what regular fans are into. Like, no. Some of them are like, I want to marry Harry, and we're like, no, though, because he's nice and he needs like tea and cuddles. I don't know. Yeah, so I couldn't tell you, but I imagine that. But it was a big deal when he cut his hair because he grew it so long, and it was so. It was definitely.
Oh, he was the one. He's the one with the super long hair.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know these things.
Yeah, he cut his hair. Yeah, it's a big deal.
These things.
Yeah. That's the big news, and it was pretty exciting. And I just there's one thing that I want to say, and I wish that everyone would stop trying to tell fangirls that One Direction are never coming back, because it's like, why do you hate fun? Like, literally, what is it hurting anyone if these fangirls are like, oh, One Direction are definitely going to come back? Like, who is it hurting? Literally no one.
Of course they're going to come back. It could be like, it very likely could be a decade from now. But of course they're going to come back.
Yeah.
All the boy bands do.
Yeah, but they, there's these people that just like to go around and say, like they've said that they're not coming back, or they're not doing that, or they've been really vague. And it's like, why? Why do you... What?
Okay, I'm pretty sure every boy band ever at one point or another has had that time where they were broken up and kept saying, oh yeah, we're not going to come back. And they always do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Backstreet Boys just this week announced they're doing a residency in Las Vegas.
I know.
Like,
I want to go.
Come on. That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to be in Vegas next week with a bunch of friends, and we looked at Britney Spears tickets, and they are so expensive. Like, if that's what they're going to get per ticket, dudes, go for it. You're going to make more with that than you probably did when you were like selling a billion CDs. And
I don't think they made a lot of money on account of what's his face. The manager, the one that died recently.
Oh, God, yeah, even if it wasn't like a bad contract, and I'm not 100% sure, but even if it's not just a bad contract, like, musicians, they make their money off of tours, not selling CDs. Like, even if it's a singular musician, they make like a couple, a few cents or whatever on a CD. Like, so if it's a band with, several members on equal footing, they're making like, I don't know, tenths of a cent probably. I could be wrong. in terms of how much money they make, but it's definitely not much.
No one makes a lot of money from music nowadays. Okay, you make it from merchandising and from touring.
Well, I mean, but even back when people bought CDs for, you know, $15 to $20 a pop, they didn't make anything off them. You know, like,
no, musicians didn't anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Anyway, so One Direction will come back at the very least someday.
And even if they don't, stop just telling fans that they're not allowed to think that they are. Like, oh.
Yeah, like, that's just, I don't know. That's just
you must be really fun at parties.
I mean, people are people. Most of them suck.
They do. Like, I don't understand. People just like hating on people for liking things, and I just don't get it.
But I don't know. This is a, you know, weird thing to kind of switch off to in a way, but the segue is good and that the wording is great. Speaking of things coming back, shows coming back.
Yeah.
I just switched up some of our order because the one thing I want to talk about is, I think we should talk about last. But anyway, the show's coming back. What are we all watching?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I mean, Flash is coming back this Tuesday, the 4th. Arrow is coming back Wednesday, the 5th. But like, I kept meaning to catch up with Arrow season 4, and I never did. I watched the premiere, and that's it. And like, I was never really into the Flash. I've only watched a couple of random episodes. So like, do any of us watch those shows or watch them anymore?
I don't.
Yeah, I think Vaughn, I think you and I quit after season 3 together. Like,
yeah,
not on purpose.
Yeah.
Not on purpose together, but just like we were both feeling the same basic.
Yeah, I mean, I might watch them eventually, but but I am hyped though for the show that is joining these two. That is Supergirl.
Oh yeah. I meant to put something about that. When is that coming back or coming? Well, sort of coming back.
I think it's next week. I'm just Googling it. I have no idea.
I know it's within the first half of October.
Yeah,
and it
might be like the 10th or something.
Yeah, and
October 10th.
It is coming back because it was a show before, but now it's on the CW instead of, what was it, NBC or CBS?
CBS, I think.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yep.
So I love Supergirl. I've recently just rewatched season 1, which I kind of like I watched intermittently, but I didn't like sit down and kind of marathon. And I love it. It's such a delightful show. Like, she's so lovely. And it's so happy and colorful and just like kind of really like hopeful view of superheroes that we haven't really seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that could honestly mesh well with, because I know they're going to do crossovers. I'm pretty sure they've already even announced it. But with the Flash, Arrow, which is pretty dark, and then the Flash, which is lighthearted but still has dark moments, and then if Supergirl is kind of like on the other end of that, like it may have a few moments here and there, but generally it's like a happy, you know, lighthearted view of superheroes, then the three of them could make something really good.
Yeah, I think there is a big crossover for like the first episode. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, and it's like they're bringing back Legends of Tomorrow too. And honestly, I haven't watched it yet, but like I didn't hear good things about it. So
I didn't hear bad things. I have friends that are like into it, and they're writing fic about it. I've read some fic about Legends of Tomorrow. I haven't actually seen the show, so I have solid fangirl connections that are into it.
Okay,
but I haven't watched it yet. I just have so many shows to watch. There's so many shows.
Yeah, tell me about it. And I mean, all these shows that are coming back, and I only watch like right now 2 of them because the 100 isn't coming back until the mid-season, I think. Probably.
I think so.
I didn't see it on the October premieres list, so I'm pretty sure it's mid-season. iZombie's not coming back till the mid-season. A bunch of other things won't be back till next year. But have either of you watched Crazy Ex-Girlfriend?
I have. I love it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's coming back the 21st. I was shocked that nobody on the website had written a recommendation for it yet, because it's a really good show. It's pretty diverse. It's different from so much of what's on TV right now. And I mean, gosh, it's got a bisexual character. And like at the moment, they haven't ruined that person yet. So I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil people, because it's only one season. And
I didn't want to write a recommendation because I love it, right? But it does miss the beat quite often as well. And I'm like, look, I really love this show, and when it hits its mark, it's so good.
Yes.
It's so brilliant. But then when it misses, I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, that's kind of what I touched on with like most of the people being like, it's like you love to hate them. Sort of.
Yeah. So like it does really cool things, and then sometimes it doesn't, and you're like,
and it's a musical.
Yeah.
And I would say 50% of the songs hit their mark.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not a good percentage.
No.
But
it's like, it's so good when it's good. So like I hope it kind of like evens out a bit more in season 2.
I'm just worried about it because they put it it's like Friday night at 9:00.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing that it got a season 2, to be honest. So
yeah. True.
I think it only got season 2 because did she get the Golden Globe or the Emmy?
Yeah, Golden Globe. No, she was like completely snubbed at the Emmys, but other people weren't. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Walking Dead comes back October 23rd. Votes on if we're actually going to find out who Negan killed in the first episode.
I don't. I just,
My like best case scenario is that we find out right away. My worst case scenario, or my worst case scenario is that we get to the end of the episode and find out then. And then if they put it off till the second episode, I'm not going to say I'm going to quit watching or anything, but it's been long enough. Like, just get it over with. There's been so much crap, like, not just speculated on, but like outright leaked, and then people denying it. And it's just, I'm over it.
Yeah, it's not good.
So anyway, the only other show we have mention of is American Horror Story, which I don't watch. And that started a couple weeks ago. But I was interested, can you watch, like, because it's about Roanoke, the lost colony, right?
Well, it's a different format this year, and we're not really sure exactly. The Lost Colony plays a little bit of it, but I mean, if you've watched American Horror Story in the past, you know that they kind of throw everything against the wall and then they see what sticks. So you don't really know.
Okay. Because I mean, I love history. I was a history major. I've always been intrigued by like the whole Roanoke thing. So I was hoping it would actually be like more about that.
I don't think you're going to get a history lesson.
No.
Well, no. But like historical fiction, even if it's not right, if it's not done horribly, it can still be fun. You know what I mean? Or it can still be interesting to watch. Like, but I don't feel like apparently they don't. I don't know. I've never watched American Horror Story, so I guess if I'm going to start, I should just start at the beginning.
Yeah, well, the great thing about it is that you don't have to watch all of them consecutively because it's an anthology. So every season is self-contained, and everybody kind of has their favorite season and their least favorite season. I mean, I still, I've watched it every single season and I still cannot figure out if I like the show or not. I just watch it because it's campy and entertaining, but I don't think I like it really. But this season, Roanoke, it has a little bit different format to it. It's right now anyway, it's formatted like a paranormal TV show. So you have like the talking heads of the people who actually lived through the paranormal events, and then you have a dramatic reenactment. And it's very strange. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. The acting is really, really good though.
That's good. I mean, I've heard that Hotel wasn't that good, and I know there's one season that usually comes up as not being that great, but I think I knew that it was an anthology, but I also wasn't sure if it was still something you could watch without having seen, like, can I watch Hotel if I want to see Lady Gaga without having seen the first however many seasons?
Yeah, I mean, they're all connected. So you may have recurring characters. Like there was a character that showed up on last night's episode that we were first introduced to in season 3, Coven. And so like it's cool for viewers who have watched all of them. But if you've never seen Coven, you'd just be like, oh, there's this person, whatever. So I don't know. I liked Hotel, but I'm a big Lady Gaga fan, so whatever.
I mean, this is going off of random things that people have posted, like I've seen on like Facebook or Twitter, like friends, not necessarily like rankings or articles or anything like that. So everybody has different opinions, but anyway, new shows. The only one I like care at all about is Westworld, which is this weekend on HBO, because it looks really weird and interesting.
It's based on a movie.
Is it?
Yeah, it was one of my mom's favorite movies, which is how I know it. But it's this weird sci-fi movie that, she absolutely adores. So I've seen it a bunch of times. But I don't think many other people have seen it.
Yeah, no, I'd never heard of it at all until I started seeing previews for it. So, I mean, do you think it'll be good based on seeing?
It's a really interesting concept. I mean, I imagine like the movie is really self-contained and is kind of like the end of something. And I imagine the TV show is kind of going back and like looking more at like how this thing sort of became a thing.
Yeah.
Based on what I've seen.
Okay.
But it's an interesting concept. So I think it'll be all right. It depends on what they do with it, really.
Yeah.
You know, when they remake movies that are kind of like they're not the best movies ever, but they have really cool ideas. And like if they take the good bits, then it's going to be really good. But if they take the bad bits, then it'll be terrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of, and I mean, I actually didn't know this one specifically was based on a movie, but like there are a lot of other TV shows that either have premiered or are premiering soon, like have premiered in the past few weeks that are based or like loosely based or prequels or sequels or whatever to movies. Like there's The Exorcist, there's a Frequency one, there's a Lethal Weapon one, and I want to say there's like 3 or 4 more this season. It's like, MacGyver. Well, that's based on an old or remake of an old TV show or whatever. But it's so much that's not like, it's not original at all.
That's the mandate at the moment to get money is it has to have established IP. So it has to be an established intellectual property before.
But some of what they're like, are you really gonna watch I don't. Have you guys both seen Frequency?
Yes, and I'm not gonna watch the TV show. So.
Yeah. Have you seen it, Erin?
Yeah. The movie.
It's like I'm not gonna hate on the movie or anything. I barely remember it. It didn't leave an impression. And it's kind of, but I do remember enough about it that I'm like, how can they make an entire TV show off of this? You know?
Yeah.
Have you guys watched, because I haven't watched anything else that's new. I tried watching Son of Zorn and got like 5 minutes into it and was like, now I'm going to watch more Orphan Black on my computer with my headphones on.
Getting into new shows is like, I already have so many shows, right? You know, and I only have so much love to give.
Right?
I've heard This Is Us is supposed to be good, but yeah, I think I might wait until like that has got like a few eps.
What is that one about?
This Is Us is kind of like a family drama, I guess. I think it's about different generations or in families, and they're working, I don't know, just family drama.
Okay.
But
yes, I've watched it. I watched like all of the network premieres because I got rid of my DirecTV. So I've been watching a lot of network TV. And so, yeah, This Is Us is on NBC. The pilot was really, really good. It has a very interesting twist right at the end that I think took most people off guard. So I will not talk about the twist, but it was very good. There are some elements of the show. We're only 2 episodes in, by the way. So, but there are some elements that I'm like, I don't really care for this. Like one of the characters is an obese woman, and basically the only characterization that we've seen about her so far is her relationship with being overweight. And I'm not, I mean, that can't be all that she is.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, we've seen her in like Overeaters Anonymous. We've seen her like with Post-it notes, not to eat all of the food in her fridge. And I'm like, I need something more here.
Yeah.
Why did it have to be Overeaters Anonymous? It could have literally been anything and not even something related to her weight.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that's what it was because they were all obese people talking about their relationship with food. So it could have, you know, I'm just hoping that it gets a little bit better. And that's the thing with family dramas is sometimes they're so two-dimensional. I just hope that as the show goes on, we get more fleshed out characters, but we'll see how it goes. Milo Ventimiglia and Mandy Moore are in it, so I love them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you watch? You said you said you watched like everything, or the network shows.
Yeah. I've also been watching a lot of Hulu. So Hulu has a lot of the network shows like the next day, and so I actually have paused because I started watching it tonight. Designated Survivor is a new show on ABC.
I watched the pilot of that.
The pilot was really good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, surprisingly, because I hate Keith Sutherland. Like, I hate him.
Oh, yeah. I talked about this on a podcast I was on with the ESO network about, like, the new shows coming out and everything. Mm-hmm. And I was just unsure how... It's basically the same thing that happened to Roslyn in the new Battlestar Galactica. So I was like, but how can they base an entire show on that? Like maybe a season, a short season?
Well, there's a mystery as well about how.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like thriller-y because they've got to figure out who did the thing, you know? And
okay.
Yes.
But again, like, so that's a season.
Yeah, but then it turns out it was someone else, season 2.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Vaughn,
it'll probably still be on 12 years from now. So
it's fine. It's going to be fun. I think I saw it trending on Twitter like a bunch when it was on.
Vaughn, are you going to watch Conviction?
No, I mean, it looks pretty. I mean, I'll probably give it a shot eventually, but like, it just doesn't look very good.
I'm shocked because of how much
it's Haley Atwell. I know. I want to watch it, and I will. Like, to be fair, I will watch it eventually, but I don't. I'm not gonna like rush out and like unless somebody like says to me it's actually really awesome.
Oh, I mean, that's how I am about Fear the Walking Dead. I wait like weeks and then I'm like, oh, I have 3 weeks worth of Fear the Walking Dead I can catch up on. That's something to keep me busy for, whatever 45 minutes times 3 is. I'm like doing that math right now. I've been doing math for like every day for the past couple weeks. So anyway, so those are the shows coming back, whatever. And we're kind of we're reaching the end here. Do we want to stave off on that one subject?
Yeah, we can throw it in. We'll do a quick roundup.
Okay. So an article that's been shared around a lot today it's basically called Stars Getting Rich Off Fan Conventions. And then it says how to take home garbage bags full of 20s. Garbage bags full of 20s has quotes around it if you're listening to this as a podcast. The article title is super clickbaity, but it is a pretty good article talking about, what these stars get paid to appear at conventions, how much money they make on average, how it's they're making more money at these conventions than they are if they do a guest spot on a TV show, sometimes even more than they make like per episode if they're bigger stars. But this is one of those things that I personally am very like bleh about, because I run to, small fan conventions and we are on purpose, not for profit. But this means that we can't pay big celebrities to come to our conventions, and we get, stomped on for that a good bit in certain forums because because that's what people expect now, is that they're going to be able to meet these big stars from whatever show, or shows you're representing. And it's caused this like huge influx of conventions. And like, I don't know, I just wanted to know what you guys thought about the article or the idea of these stars making that much money at these conventions. Like, I'm kind of on the I don't care about them making money, especially if they give it to charity end of things. But
look, I don't care about them making money. Like that doesn't, I think that they should make money, and I think it's a really good incentive for them to do that. But I also don't really care for, I don't want to judge other people's fan experiences or say that they're doing it wrong, but I kind of miss the way conventions used to be.
mm-hmm.
In a way, like you see people and they get super, super cranky because a big star is not coming to their convention. And like, I remember going to cons and then like, if there was one actor from like one episode of something, it was like this huge deal. And it was like, it was fun because you were like, you're just talking to them and then you would all just hang out, because that's what conventions were. Conventions were about going there and talking about the thing that you love, right? Not listening to actors talk crap for hours,
But, and that's the thing, like, a lot of these for-profit fan conventions, they either have no, like, panels or, Q&A scheduled at all, or lately, it's actually the past, like, year and a half or so, maybe 2 years, it's veered toward if they have panels or Q&As, you're only getting into them if you pay an additional fee on top of what you paid for your badge. And all your badge gets you, if you buy the base for a lot of these for-profit conventions, is entrance into the exhibit / vendor hall. Usually it's just called the vendor hall. And then like, if you're lucky, they have a few fan panels scheduled throughout the weekend. And then like, oh, you can go get in the regular person line and pay more money for an autograph or a photo with an actor or actress that you like.
Yeah.
It's doing away with any like intimate sort of connection, not just between fans, but between fans and the guests as well. Because it's just rushing people through a line so that you can get your $150 or more autograph. Or even like the least expensive I've seen for a I mean, I'm sorry, but Norman Reedus, like you call him, he can't be really called an A-list actor. He's not Chris Evans level. So Norman Reedus, B-list actor, is like $80. And that's on top of the $100-something you already paid just to walk into this convention. Like,
it's hard because I'm kind of with you. I like the fact that talent, they're going to more conventions, they're allowing more fans that interaction. I think that's great, especially as a person who lives in kind of a smaller city. I think it's cool when they come here for a convention. But the for-profit ones, I mean, they have to offset that cost to get the talent. And I mean, I'm not defending them by any means. I'm just saying, I mean, it's just a fact. So
I think what I would like, it doesn't bother me because I think that I get why they charge that much for autographs. I get why they have to, and I want the talent to get paid. I want people to get paid for,
I am not at all arguing against, guests getting paid proper money for their appearances. Like,
panels should be included in your base price.
And to be honest, they should be mandatory attendance for the guests.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to we're paying you this much money. There's going to be these, once a day you do a thing that takes you 15 minutes travel time, an hour while you're there, and 15 minutes travel time back. And then you do whatever you want at your own, booth. Like, they have contracts set up for how much the convention gets, how much the, guest gets, et cetera, for autographs. But like, having to pay extra on top of your ticket for panels is awful. Not vetting your vendors properly, that's getting to be a really big problem. I mean, there was recently that issue with Wizard World Chicago where there was an actual gun manufacturer coming to the convention. And I do believe that they weren't ever planning on selling real guns at the convention. I absolutely don't think they were going to do that. They were, there to sell replicas and stuff, but they are actual gun manufacturer. So they make those contacts and then those people buy guns. And that is a problem to me.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be at a convention.
Well, I mean, that's weird American stuff with your guns, man. Why is anyone selling guns at a convention?
There are gun conventions for these people.
That's
like
weird.
Go to your gun convention for fuck's sake. I'm done. I swore. For fuck's sake, go to your gun convention. Don't go to, I'm not going to name the convention, but go ahead and Google it because you'll find it pretty fast. Gun manufacturers, regardless of whether or not they're selling real guns, should not be at these conventions, period. No. And I've also had friends in the past, and again, I'm not going to name the company that they had problems with, but I have an artist friend who does like mostly mashup designs, and a lot of his designs are like pretty much famous. Like, he's very, very big in the convention circuit. And there were people at this one specific not one specific convention, but many of the many of the conventions run by this one company that were selling his designs without his permission. And it took him it was at least 8 months. It may have been over a year. He had fans of his contacting him, sending him pictures of these people selling his designs without his permission, asking, you're not here. Why are your designs here? And it took like 3 conventions of him sending them info for this company to finally say, okay, this seller can't sell at any of our conventions anymore.
I mean, I love that fandom has gone mainstream. I love that more people do it. I love that we get more opportunities to do it, and it's great. But gosh, it used to be easier. I don't want to be that like crazy old fangirl kind of yelling on her lawn, going, "Get off my lawn, you kids!" No,
and that's the thing. Like, I don't feel that way, but it's like Dragon Con, there's one particular very popular show that no longer has guests that go to Dragon Con. And there's been several official reasons given for it by supposedly official people. I say supposedly official reasons by supposedly official people. But the real fact of the matter was these people were coming to Dragon Con and they were scheduled for panels and they were canceling or not showing up for panels because they were signing autographs and taking pictures in the Walk of Fame. So they were skipping their few obligations of, being guests at this huge, like even at this time, it was over 60,000 people convention. They were skipping their few obligations to make more money. And of course, their excuses are doing it for the fans. But what about those hundreds of fans that waited in line for an hour to get into this ballroom to see your panel? Mm-hmm. And those guests literally aren't invited to Dragon Con anymore. And, again, the official story from one side is, we're just not doing this because it's the wrong time of year or whatever. But that's not really what it is. And everybody who was there the couple years in a row that the actors from this same show did it knows. It's just... There are people who want to go to fan conventions and there are people who want to go to meet the stars conventions. And I think they are two different things. Wizard World, Walker Stalker Con, and a couple other companies are leaning this way lately too, are meet the celebs conventions where you pay a lot of money for a badge and then pay a lot more money to meet some really awesome people. And then there are fan conventions that you're probably not, you're not going to meet Chris Evans. You're probably not going to meet Norman Reedus. You know what I mean? You probably won't even meet, I don't know, give me some C-list actor, Peter Mayhew. I don't know, somebody who goes to a ton of conventions, but you're going to get the experience of, you're going to get that fandom experience that you're never going to get at these conventions that either don't have any programming or charge extra for it.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think there's a place for both kinds of conventions.
I think there is, but I do agree that the market is like a bubble that's, if it hasn't already popped, it's going to soon.
Yeah.
Wizard World has already scaled back, compared to what they were doing in 2015. So.
Yeah, I think they've got to, to be honest, celebrity Q&As and shit like that is just so, to hear them answer the same questions over and over again.
Yeah.
What was the best prank you ever pulled on the set?
Oh, or what's going to happen next in the show when they've already told you that they can't tell you what's happening next?
What was your favorite scene to shoot?
I will admit that earlier this year I went to Wizard World in Des Moines and Billy Boyd did a Q&A panel, but he called Dominic Monaghan on his phone and had a conversation on speakerphone, and that was the best 10 minutes of my life.
There's some people who are good. You get those kind of those con veterans, right? Who are just so used to doing it and they do it so well because they put on a show and they know that the panel is a show. It's not just a Q&A, right?
Yeah, I moderated 4 panels at MegaCon. Curtis Armstrong, Supernatural, right? And Revenge of the Nerds. And Kevin Conroy, both who are convention vets, were amazing. I'm not saying the other 2 people were bad. They were it was very difficult to moderate their panels and keep the conversation going, even with audience questions and me kind of trying to guide things. And there were reasons for both of those issues. And I'm not saying anything bad about those panels, but Curtis Armstrong and Kevin Conroy, who's like the voice of Batman in almost everything, were perfect.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Yeah.
I'm not a huge Batman fan, and that Kevin Conroy panel is one of the best panels I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't watched like animated Batman since the 90s, and it's like, but there are, like you said, there are some people who really either they know what they're doing because they've been doing it for a long time, or in like your case, Erin, I think he probably is just a cool guy who, I mean, he's been doing it for a while, but he's also just a cool guy who wants to make sure the audience like is
Has a good time.
entertained.
You know, yeah, there are quite a few. Like, I think with the kind of broadening of this, you get like quite a few guests who just kind of turn up.
Yeah.
Like, and I think, no, this is a job. You're getting paid a lot of money, and I'm totally there for you getting paid that money. But for doing that, you need to perform. You need to.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, he wasn't there promoting anything, but he's just an interesting and funny guy.
Yeah.
And so, you know, he knew he was cracking jokes and stuff. Like, it was just, even if he was not a big movie star, I use that term loosely with him, but you know what I mean? Like, I think he'd still be interesting to watch just because he's a funny guy and he's Scottish. So he has like this really thick accent, which is hard. He's hard to understand when he talks really fast.
Well, I mean, and like Battlestar hasn't been on the air in forever, and I've been to a ton of Battlestar panels, and every single one of them has been completely amazing.
Yeah.
I went to one that was just Aaron Douglas, you know, who played Chief back in April, and it was like one of the best panels, one of the best actor panels ever. He was just fun.
Yeah.
He was just having fun. And he had he had a couple things he was promoting, but it's nothing big. You know, it's nothing like I'm here to promote this thing. He was there just as like a guest who was on a show that a bunch of people loved a while ago. And he talked about his new stuff coming out. He talked about a few other things, but mostly he talked about Battlestar, and he was funny and he was fun and it was great.
Yeah.
Like, and all I'm asking is that these, you know, giant conventions give us some program. Like, please don't be just like a money pit where people get autographs. Like, give us programming.
Yeah.
You can get local people to come in and like you give them a free ticket to your convention and say you have to work this many hours, and like you will have panelists out the ass. Like,
yeah, put on like a variety of content too, not just like one guy that was in a show standing in the middle of an audience, like, which can be great. But like, if he turns out he's not great, which is like, you know, there should be other options.
Yeah. Yeah. There should be more than like one thing going on per hour.
Sometimes they're not great. And also hire, like, I mean, you're probably a really good moderator, but sometimes they're terrible.
Oh, no, I agree. I mean, I've got to be honest. I know a lot of people love Felicia Day, but she moderated the Ali Brosh panel when we were all at Comic-Con in 2015, and she was not good. She spent like at least 55% of the time talking about herself. Nobody was there to see Felicia Day. She's at a million things. We all wanted to see Ali Brosh, who goes to nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I don't have a problem with Felicia Day. She just, even important famous people aren't good moderators sometimes.
Yeah, no, moderators. It's a hard job to do, moderating.
There was a guy from Steven Universe who's like on the Crewniverse, and I can't remember his name right now. And he was the moderator of the San Diego Comic-Con panel, and he did a great job because there were a lot of crappy questions. Basically, like the whole every other person is asking, "Can you tell us what's going to happen in the future?" And before the Q&A portion, he literally said, "If anybody asks me something I can't answer, and like, this is what I can't answer, so you know what I can't answer, I'm just going to read this like generic Cartoon Network like press release that talks about Steven Universe coming back or the next whatever, or the, you know what I mean, like Steven Universe airs at blah blah blah." And that's exactly what he did for like a half an hour, and almost every other person had a question he couldn't answer, and he just kept reading it, and it was hilarious. I'm maddening because all these people were wasting everybody's time, but he was cutting it short at least.
People.
Anyway.
Blah.
Blah. All right, we should probably, 'cause
Yeah.
we've been ranting. It's gone over.
Okay, so wrapping up upcoming events. Vaughn, do you have anything?
No, I'm free. Well, I go see Harry Potter play in November, but other than that,
Oh, yeah. Are you going to write about it?
probably.
I mean, I know it's not like a timely review because it came out several months ago, but I want to see your take on the play versus
No,
the
I
book.
mean, I'll do a comparison to how I felt compared to the book
I'm
version.
excited. When are you going to see it in November?
Yeah, beginning of November.
I'll keep an eye out. I'll be excited for that. Erin, do you have any conventions or anything coming up?
I do not. However, New York Comic Con is next weekend already. Ugh, October 6th through to the 9th. Crazy.
Yeah, and Jamie and Dot are going to be there, right?
I think so.
Our two New Yorkers.
Yeah.
I've got a couple things coming up. MegaCon Tampa Bay, which is October 28th through the 30th in Tampa, Florida. I was at MegaCon Orlando earlier this year as a guest, and I'm going to be a guest at MegaCon Tampa Bay again, and I'll have a booth. So I'll post more about that on the website. And also, I think I'm going to be on a couple cosplay panels. So that's going to be interesting. One of them is talking about like how to pose in cosplay, which is hilarious because I'm like not that great at posing. I just like tell myself not to smile. That's about it. So that's going to be fun. And then I'm going to the Miami Book Fair in November. And I know I should at least have an interview with E.K. Johnson, who's wrote the Ahsoka book, the Star Wars Ahsoka book that is either it just came out or it's coming out tomorrow. I don't remember right now. And then I don't have another convention until next year. So like mid-November is Miami Book Fair. It's the 18th through the 20th is the weekend, but it actually goes on for the whole week with panelists and stuff like that. They've got, I don't know, like over 100 authors going. So that's gonna be really cool. So if you live in that area, I suggest checking it out. And then for me, possibly Pensacon, which is in like I think early February or something. It's in Pensacola, Florida, and then Ice and Fire Con. And that's it.
Sounds good.
So, recommendations?
Oh, you guys got any recommendations? Oh, I'm first, am I? Oh, fun. I have a recommendation of Niall's new single.
There you go.
It's called This Town, and it's great. Also, everyone should watch Supergirl when it comes back on October 10th because it's a great show, and Tyler Hoechlin is going to be Superman this time, so it's just going to get better.
I mean, yeah, I saw those pictures of his butt.
Yeah, his butt is excellent. It's worth watching the show just for his butt. I mean, even if the show wasn't great, which it is.
Sorry, not sorry for making this all about his butt, but wow, his butt is there. It's so there.
It's
and
really
if guys can do this about our boobs, then I can do this about Tyler Hoechlin's ass.
Yeah.
Double standard. Erin?
I have discovered a show called You're the Worst. And it is on FXX, and it's very, very good. It is a dark comedy, and it is not politically correct, so it will probably offend you.
It sounds like half
however,
the shows I've watched.
However, it is very good, and it's very cleverly written, and I really love it.
What's the general premise?
It's about these two people who are very like self-centered, and I don't mean self-centered in like a bad way necessarily. They're just, inward, and they meet up and they hook up, and then they reluctantly kind of get into a relationship, but they're each like very self-centered, so it's kind of watching them interact and get on in this weird relationship that they have. But it's very entertaining, and it goes a little overboard sometimes, but I like it.
Yeah, weirdly enough, like in some instances, if a show is being true to what it is, then even if it is not politically correct or like outright offensive, I can watch it. Like,
Yeah.
I watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I watch The League for a long time, which is about a fantasy football league and is like horribly not politically correct. It's bad. But like it can be done in such a way that it's entertaining and not, it's like offensive, but it's not offensive in that like, oh my God, people are going to rant about this sort of way. Sort of like trying to be a serious show, but throwing in things that you shouldn't throw in, which there are a billion examples of. Anyway, so I'm going to check that out because I think that You're the Worst. And you said it's on FX?
FXX.
FXX.
And it's also on Hulu.
Oh, okay. Hulu. I can do it.
FXX is like the weird extra pay channel for FX.
Okay. Okay. I thought it meant like FXX, like it's NC-17 rated.
No, it is graphic, but it's funny. I mean, the title is called You're the Worst. Basically, it's these two people who everybody says that they're the worst person that they know, and then they get together. So,
yeah, I'll check it out.
Pretty good, though.
I can always do with some comedy. Anyway, so real quick, super late to the Orphan Black Party here, but wow, everybody needs to watch this show. And how in the world did it take 4 seasons for Tatiana Maslany to win an Emmy? P.S. I've only watched to the end of season 3, so I'm saving season 4 for the plane when I fly very far next week. So, but yeah. Really, Erin, how did it take this long for her to win an Emmy? Like, now I know what you've been talking about for so long.
It's so good. It's the best show.
She should have won one after the first season, and she wasn't even playing. I don't want to spoil things. Watch this show if you don't, people. It's amazing. The first 3 seasons are on Amazon Prime. So anyway, are we going to do a question?
Oh, I don't have a question. I'm tired. It was my birthday.
It was your birthday.
I'm old now.
Here's a question. What was your best birthday theme ever, Vaughn?
One Direction.
Erin, have you had birthday themes? You had to have, right?
No, not really. Although this year I was in Wisconsin at a beer festival, so that was pretty good.
That's fun.
Beer themed is a good birthday.
Beer themed.
I feel like beer themed. Yeah. I've had a lot of themed birthdays. I would say, probably. My 29th birthday, I had a 1920s themed party, and that was really fun. Like, we rented out a space and had like 20s themed like food and drinks, and pretty much almost everyone dressed up. And I was 29, so it was the last year of my 20s, so it fit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I'm not in my 20s anymore, so it's fun. It's cool.
Yeah. Hi, that was like almost 5 years ago for me. So you can show.
We're in the same age bracket now, man. It's fine.
30s are the best.
I'm
pretty hyped about them.
Yeah, I'm fine with being in my 30s. I don't know. I don't hate it. Anyway, so we'll wrap this up. I am Tara, along with Erin and Vaughn. Thank you again for joining us for Feelings with the Geekiary. Remember, we are a free webcast run off donations from viewers like you. So thank you for contributing and helping our host site, the Geekiary. And we will see you next month.